Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy adaptation games, and may the odds be ever in your favor. I'm Kels,
And I'm Ash.
and we are the Adaptation Games, a Hunger Games podcast where we break down the Hunger Games films beat by beat and analyze them along with the book to understand themes, characters, and to determine just how good an adaptation these movies are. We've gotten through what is essentially day one in the arena, right, with Katniss, and we also hit another landmark today. We have officially made it halfway through the movie,
It's
which is crazy.
farther than I thought we'd get.
I know. Well, so much is jam-packed into the beginning that it's like, oh my gosh, once we get to the games, I feel like it's going to be both so quick and take forever.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a lot of games in the Hunger Games.
Yeah, truly. But how was the rest of your weekend this week?
It's good. Blueberries have finally come to fruition, so I'm gonna start picking those. They are
Nice.
also just covered in weeds, so I must also pick all the weeds that I've been avoiding picking. Um, but it's very fun. It's a nice timing to get blueberries now that all produce is very bad, very dangerous, may make you violently
Very
ill.
sick.
Yes. So we'll have
Those sound so
blueberries. We
good,
have a
though.
friend that might make a blueberry pie if we supply enough blueberries.
Ooh,
But
that sounds amazing.
yeah, it's nice. I think my plum tree is uh dead, very dead, super dead. It flowered
Not the
this
outcome
year.
we were hoping for.
No, it flowered this year, and now all the leaves have holes in them and look really sad. There's not a single leaf on that tree that looks healthy. Um, so I don't
I
know what
am
I
so jealous
did.
of your backyard, though. We have like a nice little patio, right? But we have the dog, and Mochi gets her little patch of grass that I order her every week because it's just a concrete patio otherwise, and then it's just weeds. We have so many weeds that grow back there. It's great.
Oh my God.
Um,
Mine
so
is
we don't
also
grow
weeds,
anything.
but more more space
More
for
weeds,
weeds.
yeah. Yeah. But that's
How's
awesome.
yeah. How's your weekend?
Good. We didn't do too much, so that was nice after the crazy events weeks. Because I got to prepare still to go to the next events. So I
Yes,
am enjoying my downtime while I can.
absolutely.
Yeah. Um, but anyways, I think we're ready to hop back into the arena
Back into the
and
games.
back into the games. I don't remember if we quoted this last episode, but the very end of chapter 12 is when we find out the firewall is coming for Katniss. So I'm just going to quote it from the book, but it says, "It would be hard to miss the wall of fire descending upon me," after she finally has like quenched her thirst and she's been dying of dehydration. And she's like, "Oh, look at that. A wall of fire is descending upon me."
Sick.
So great way to end chapter 12, which yeah. So
Love
loved it.
book Katniss. She's a
She's
delight.
wonderful. I
She's
know.
associating the whole time, but she's a delight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Um, but in the movie, what we get the shots of her in the tree once we see Peeta has joined up with the career pack, and she just is looking so upset. And it cuts from that to her trudging through the woods. And Katniss's tracker man, whatever we want to call him, observer, in the control room, who is saying like, "Oh, she's 2 kilometers from the nearest tribute," and he calls it out to Seneca, and Seneca's like, "Oh, okay, let's like turn her around, you know, do it." And we're getting these great wide shots of just like how far removed Katniss is from everybody else, and like just how much forestry she's really in, which I think is pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go into a sequence of her running game makers game makering. Um
Yeah.
and it's kind of funny in the book, like you the way that they reference the game makers is like Katniss understands the games so well. She knows, she
Mm-hmm.
grew up watching them her whole life, and again she's like fully dissociating. So as she's like struggling through the smoke upcoming, um she's just gonna be thinking about how the game makers, like, she's like, oh yeah, so like they're trying to push me somewhere, I wonder where they're pushing me, as she's like
Yeah. And I love
Whereas in the
that
movie, we get
there's
to see it.
yeah, exactly. And I love that in the book there's only one line really that ever talks about the control room, and it's in this chapter, in chapter 13, where she says, "Somewhere in a cool, spotless room, a game maker sits at a set of controls, fingers on the triggers that could end my life in a second. All that is needed is a direct hit." And it's like that leads essentially to all the control room scenes that we get throughout the film, which is we obviously love. We're big fans of, and it basically gets extrapolated from this sequence.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a clean, spotless room.
Yeah, I was like, they nailed it.
Yeah.
They nailed this moment, I feel like, and then expanded it just so much, and I love that. Um, and it's really interesting because we get a lot of like these like fade shots over each other, so it's like them in the control room overlapping with Katniss as she's like moving around in the forest as the game makers are trying to figure out what are they gonna do about the fact that she's so far away from the other tributes. Um, and we cut to her falling asleep in the tree again. She's tied into the tree, and she wakes up. You kind of hear the rumbling of the fire in the background, and it cuts to just a huge roaring forest fire that just like pops up out of nowhere. Right? And then we get like a lot of we're gonna start getting a lot of these quick cuts again. And a lot of shaky cam coming up in these next couple of scenes. But she undoes her rope, jumps out of that tree, just lands, and then runs. And you could just see how desperate she is to get out. Um, because in the book she's like following all the animals because she's like they have to know better than me about like where to go to escape this, so I'm just gonna follow them.
Yeah, I love the cut back and forth of like, okay, cue up a fireball in 3, 2,
Mm-hmm.
and then her like, ah,
Yeah.
dodging it.
It's great
Uh,
getting like the fireball shots like directly at the camera, like it's coming towards you almost. um
yeah.
and that countdown is yeah wonderful. Also it's great if you've watched the behind the scenes of this moment of J-Law literally running through woods as they're exploding trees around her, which is the fireball effect. It's great.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
I love it.
No, I have not watched that. Yeah, this is so fun. I think, because we're in Book Katniss's head, Book Katniss feels like she's got it a little more together. Until the smoke really starts getting to her. And she gets hit that time. Movie Katniss seems like she's surviving by the skin of her teeth. Because we're
Hmm.
seeing what's actually happening versus Book Katniss. That's just like, man, these game makers, like,
Yeah. And she's like, yeah, I've been watching the games my whole life and like yada yada. And she's like giving examples and stuff like
yeah,
that. But it's great. The reason she also feels so frantic in the movie in comparison is that we're cutting from her and there's all these sound effects of like the trees burning and like her running and her breathing really hard. And then it cuts to essentially the silent control room. Like there's no sound effects happening when you cut into the control room, and we get that she's heading towards the left flank. Can I get a tree right there? And Seneca's just like smiling, having the time of his life. And they're like, sure, queuing a tree, and you're like, that's crazy. They're just gonna like spawn a tree, I guess. Like I think that's the
yeah. I think
craziest thing
I
we
think
see
that's
them
when
do.
they drop the tree, which
Yeah,
is crazy to me because I feel like can I get a tree is not enough direction for me to know where the tree should fall. Um,
yeah,
but but they practiced, apparently. I think it's funny in the book, the fire hits everyone. Like it even hits the career pack. Like Katniss can hear them choking. The smoke is really more of a problem than the fire. Um uh but which is kind of how fires work. But
yeah,
in this, it's a smokeless fire. It's clearly fake because we're watching it be fake. It feels very much like for anyone who's played Hellblade, Senua's
yeah,
Sacrifice. You're running through the fire to in that like village, plague village. It feels a lot like that. It is she's running through the woods, she gets hit, and I think that's when book Katniss and movie Katniss kind of align, as they both start freaking out. Um,
yeah. And we get to see how bad that burn does look on her. Like it looks pretty bad. Like, and we
doesn't look
we
great.
linger on it. Yeah. I will say Katniss in the book probably gets a little bit more beat up. Like her hair is really singed and like all of this her hands get burned.
Yeah.
Um we'll get
Because
to it
her
later.
whole
But she,
leg actually like gets on fire, like the whole pant leg lights on.
yeah, yeah. And then while in the movie she gets hit, she kind of is in this little safe haven of these rocks, and then we see the burn on her leg, and then we see a reflection in her eyes that another fireball is on the way, and then we cut to the fireball coming directly at the camera. I just love that shot of like you being able to see the reflection of the orange in her eyes, especially
Yeah.
for the girl on fire, right? Because she has a whole moment in the book where she says like, Katniss, the girl who was on fire. What a good laugh the game makers must be having over that one. Perhaps Cinna's beautiful costumes have even brought on this particular torture for me. I know he couldn't have foreseen this must be hurting for me because, in fact, I believe he cares about me. Which is like such an interesting thing for her to be thinking of at a time like this.
Focus,
Is she's
Katniss,
becoming the
focus.
girl on fire. Yeah. But it is good for, I mean, that's like, yeah, that's what we could potentially be assuming. And in the movie, it's much more obvious that they're targeting Katniss specifically, like you said, because the careers
Yes.
aren't going to be affected by this.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because in the book, we don't see any other, like, we have no idea what's happening with any of the other, uh, candidates? Who is it?
tributes.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, we will
Tributes,
in
oh
a
my god.
second. We're gonna get to a shot of it, and I'll list them all out. But we will know what they're getting up to in a second.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
in
in
the
the
movie, we
background,
get to
but
see the map, and it's like, "Oh,
yeah,
she's alone."
yeah. And I love that we're gonna get to see that. But as that fireball's coming at her, she falls down another gigantic hill. So second gigantic hill of the movie that she's gonna follow down. And that is like major shaky cam here, right? This is her like falling down, running through the smoke, and it's great though because we get this brilliant shot of the multi-view where they're getting all these different angles of like where they're trying to like get her to, and it's like a drone essentially following her, so that's why it's so shaky in the
Oh,
movie. So I like
yeah.
that there's like an explanation for it. It's like, well, they're trying to keep up with her sprinting for her life with this camera model, right? So it's like trying to keep up with her basically. We don't see it in shot anywhere necessarily when we like go back to the movie shots. But like that's the implication is what the game makers are seeing is essentially a drone following her around. So we cut to like all these shaky cam moments. We're seeing Seneca watching it, and he's got like this great little smile on his face, and he's like got his hand on his chin, like he's like, oh, I'm such a genius. Like he's loving it. Um, and
I love that
she,
he looks like he thinks, "Oh, I'm a genius," and then Book Katniss is like, "This is not creative, y'all."
right, she's like, oh, it's not the most creative way to like push tributes together that I've ever seen happen. You're like, oh, okay, Katniss, glad you had time to think about that. Um, and then we hear from a character who's going to get named. We'll get to it in a second, but she's almost there and she runs straight into the water. Instead of taking her time to get into the water, like in the book, she gets to the edge of the water, realizes, okay, I should put my hands in. I think cold water is supposed to help for at least these surface burns on my hands, but I like don't know about this deeper burn. So she's thinking a lot about like her mom and Prim and talking about like all these different burns. I also love that she basically is like, I hate burns, have always hated them. Even a small one gotten from pulling a pan of bread from the oven. Like, man, we just thinking about Peeta every day, I guess. Have you ever made bread, Katniss? Don't like I love that this is the thing you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it too. This is also in this brief little bit of her trying to remember how to medicine. Um, it's our first mention of Prim as
Mhm.
a doctor, as a nurse, or as a healer. Um, and that's such a fun little. I don't think I remember that from the ancient times when I read this again. Um, uh, uh, but yeah, it was fun to see, like, even Katniss was kind of surprised, like, "Oh, like, even Prim, sweet, sweet, fragile Prim
Yeah.
stepped up."
Prim, who's scared of her own shadow, stayed and helped.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
And my mother says healers are born, not made. And I also think it's really interesting to put it right here, at least especially before the movie. We don't get as much in the like hallucinations in the book, but the movie this is where we're going to get all of our backstory eventually. We're probably not going to get to it in this episode, but about Katniss and her mom and her dad and stuff like that. And so it's interesting that this line is happening here because Katniss wasn't born this way, right? Like she had to become the sole provider, and she was made into the hunter and like made into all these things. To contrast that with healers are born that way to like save people and stuff like that, I think is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love
Um,
Prim. We'll talk a lot
we
about
love
Prim, but
Prim.
in future books.
Yeah. We'll get a lot of her in Catching Fire. I'm excited to like
Oh,
read about her again in Catching Fire because I love her in Catching Fire before she goes on the victory tour and stuff. I think she's great.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, but back into the arena. So, well, back into the control room. What we do get is we get that shot of the map, right? So here's what we can see. We can see that Thresh is right next to the cornucopia. District 3, which is their guard that we will see Kato murder. he will snap this kid's neck later. Is there at the cornucopia, and then Fox Face is also just outside the cornucopia, and they have a line drawn between District 3 and District 5, as in like here's the closest conflict point.
Mm.
Um, and then we will see not too far from Katniss is another District 11 tag and a District 10 tag, and they have a line drawn between them, as in like here's closest conflict, and that is Rue and whoever is from District 10 that's still alive. It seems.
Don't worry, they'll die.
And then we see Katniss, her lone 12, and then we see a circle, like a connection of like the 5 careers plus Peeta, um, which is great to show like alliances and things like that versus conflict lines. And it's just great. I just happened to pause it perfectly to see this, and I didn't have to like go scrolling through it. And I was like, oh, this is great. I'm gonna write all these things down. And the career pack is very close to Katniss. Obviously, you can see that they're like both about to enter the water. And Seneca says, Lucia, get a cannon ready. And let me just say, I love that this random woman in the control room gets named before Effie. That's all I could think about.
Lucia is an icon. She is the heartbeat of the games with the cannons.
Yeah.
I hope she got a huge promotion in Catching Fire.
Right. Yeah.
It's so fun. I wonder,
It's so
I'm
fun.
just like thinking of the other trivia. It's like if Thresh is at the cornucopia with the District 3 guard, was that like later, or did he bribe the guard and took some things, or?
Well, it's like District 3 is over here. Now that we're on video, I guess I can mime this out, right? District 3 is here, Cornucopia is here, and then Thresh is
Yeah.
essentially all the way on the opposite side in the woods, but he's like
Oh,
close to
okay.
the Cornucopia, clearly keeping tabs
An
on
eye.
them.
Yeah.
Like you would think from the book that Thresh like took off deep into the woods, just like Katniss did. So I think it's interesting that they show that no, he stuck real close, like waiting for his opportunity to come in, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably as familiar with climbing trees and doing stuff like that as Rue, just not quite as
Right.
agile.
Yeah, and I think, well, we'll eventually get to it, but I think, are there like wheat fields as well? And that's kind of where Thresh is, because she says he looks like he gained
Oh,
weight because he's eating so much food in the
yeah.
arena later on. So I'm interested to get to that part and like see if we get little more Easter eggs like this in the background of like where is he in the
Yeah,
arena?
I think it's orchards and fields.
Yeah. And then so what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So there's 10 tributes that we can see on the screen, I think, right? So the 3 at the cornucopia, the 2 or 11. There's 11 tributes left, and we will see that later when Caesar and Claudius are talking. It's like up in the background how many tributes are left. So it matches,
Yeah.
which is great. I love being able to see these little details in the background. But basically this is all just leading up to the fact that they did manage to corral Katniss into running into the career pack. And so we hear them before we even see them come jogging around the corner out onto these big ass rocks overlooking this like little river. and they are just laughing and whooping and hollering and like so excited that they have spotted her. They're like calling out tabs on who's gonna get to kill her, and Katniss is like just floating in the water, and she's like, "Oh God, I gotta go." So she's like struggling to get out of the water because she's got her backpack on. She's in full clothing. It is so hard to move in water when you are
Oh my God.
clothed. So she's desperately trying to get out. Um, and I like the detail that her face is covered in ash because she was the one that was in the smoke and the fire, and they're all pretty clean considering they've been out in the
Yeah.
woods.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like this more than the book where she takes her time at the pond and then she actually kind of like they catch her when she like leaves the pond or something like that.
Hmm.
Because this, I mean, it's a movie. It does objectively make for better TV. It's
Yeah,
more accurate to what I think the games would be like. It wouldn't just be like, oh, she made out of the fire. Like people know that the game makers are to the fire. That's not the tributes fighting against the fire is not what's interesting. It's them attacking each other.
exactly. They're like, oh yeah, we did this to initiate this fight that everybody wants to
Hmm.
see, so like let's do it. Um, and I love that like yeah, there's basically no breaks for Katniss, right? Like we are basically like, nope, you're moving. Like, I don't care about your injury. And we're getting a lot of shots of her running, and we see very clearly her injured leg and the burn
Yeah,
while she's attempting to run away from them, just to be like, oh, yeah, don't forget, she's hurt. She's hurting.
very hurt. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I love the matching of the delight between the career pack and the game makers. Adds a lot of tension to the scene.
Hmm.
Because everyone's having a good time except for Katniss. Um,
Yeah. And Peeta, who's like, he trails in behind them on the scene when he like walks in, and you can tell he's looking around like, oh God, no. This is exactly what I was trying to avoid by like leading them away. I like don't know what to do.
I love his little
He's always
spear.
gonna be slightly separated. I know his little I wonder if this is the one that Marvel takes later to kill Rue with, though. Because it
Oh,
looks like it's the
probably.
same one. Yeah. And I can't remember what weapon Marvel is currently carrying. Um, but yeah, we get all these shots of her running, desperately looking for a tree to climb up. She starts to climb, and they're all like using her name. It's so creepy. They're like Miss Everdeen, Katniss, Girl on Fire. Kato calls her at one point while she's like climbing up this tree, and they're all like running after her. Like it's so personal for
Yeah.
them. You know, they're making it incredibly personal.
Yeah, they're like, "Ooh, here's our next target, and you have been very annoying because you got a lot of eyes." Um,
Hmm. You stole a lot of attention that we could have been getting.
yeah. I do that in the book, she goes up this tree so high. She's like 100
Oh,
feet in the air.
yeah. At one point, she's like, I'm at 80 feet and I'm still going.
I'm like, "Okay." In the movie, it's a little like, "Okay."
Yeah. Well, it's like, yeah, there's not a lot of branches lower, which is how it is, especially with trees like that. If you live out in the forest, like it's
Yeah,
not like,
is
oh,
she
there's a whole bunch of
scrambling up
branches
like a
low down.
pine tree or something?
It has to be, well, it has to be pine in the book because she eats pine, right? She like
Yeah,
eats the
but, like,
pine
pine
bark.
trees don't have, like, branches to chill on.
I know that was my thing too. So I'm curious. Well, I don't know what trees are out in North Carolina, because that's the other thing is about filming it in North Carolina and assuming potentially that the arena is also in that area, which does put it more closer to Appalachia, right? Like closer to where Katniss grew up. So like similar foliage versus like if they were hosting it on the West Coast and it was like foliage she wasn't going to be used to or something like that, you know?
It's, like, only redwood trees.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, no, there's no way you're climbing those.
mm-mm.
My mom recently went out to the redwoods with my dad, and I forget what we were doing afterwards, and she was like, "These trees are so small." I was like, "Yeah, these are normal trees. They're not redwoods." Which I thought was so cute. Yeah,
Oh, that's so good.
yeah. Um, but yeah, the I just think it's interesting, right? Like, I don't know what the trees are that are out there, and this
Yeah.
is a custom built tree for the stunt, but this
Yeah,
is
and it
not like a
feels like
tree that they found.
they've this tree they've used 2 or 3 times. It feels like it's the same tree as when she was, sitting in it originally.
But yeah, because they built just the one prop for the stunt. that you can see in the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, which makes sense. Um,
Yeah, because that's what they train her to climb for safety reasons. So, like,
I do
they're
love the
gonna climb the same
extremely
one.
generous handholds on it, and then
Yeah,
Kato's like, "Oh, I can't do it." I'm like,
yeah.
"Okay, dude,
Well,
if
he
you
does
put the
grab a
sword away."
branch that is so small and clearly not going to support his weight, and it's like, well, that's on you, dude. And also, yeah, put the sword away. Pull it out when you get up there.
Yeah.
Idiot.
What is she gonna do?
Yeah, it's Kato climbing, sword in hand, empty sheath on his back, attempting to get up there. I have a feeling he could have made it if he just was a little smarter, but that's kind of the whole point. Is she's like, he's not smart enough to make it up here. And she, in the book, is also like, well, this is why I climb and Gale doesn't, which we've kind of established at this point. She's like, his body weight is just distributed in such a way that he just won't be able to make it up here because he's so much bigger than I am. Um, and even in the movie, like he's clearly bigger than Jennifer Lawrence. You know, like
Yeah,
she might be
yeah.
taller than probably like a Katniss we would have expected, but like he is still hulks over her, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in terms of muscle. So, and then we see the rest of them down on the ground cheering him on. Clove is like, "Yeah, kill her, Kato, kill her." And you're like, "Oh
Killer!
my gosh!" And
Great
then
line delivery.
so good. And then Peeta is slightly separated, just staring up at her like, I don't know what to do in this situation. Hopefully Kato
I didn't
falls, and then he
plan
falls.
from here out.
Yeah. um Once Kato falls, Glimmer then takes the bow out and she's like, let me do it. And she tries to shoot and she gets a lot closer than I would have anticipated.
Yeah, I
Um
think the movie is unrealistic in that she probably should have hit Katniss and ipso facto the movie done. Because Katniss is like 30 feet off the ground. Like,
I think the more realistic thing would have been if she hadn't even been able to string it correctly and it didn't go a full 30 feet up. You
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
being able to pull back what is likely like a 45-pound bow for Glimmer, she's not gonna be able to do it. And then Kato just like straight up misses her. He just
Yeah.
like aims straight up and like not at an angle. So, but I love that the arrows never come back down. I
No,
don't think we know where they land. Yeah,
they're doing whatever they desire.
yeah. um, and then of course Katniss then starts to taunt them. Um, and I love in the book where she's like, "This takes them aback," but I know the crowd is gonna love this moment.
But yeah.
She's
And
like, "I'm
again,
playing
I
it up."
mean, Book Katniss understands the games so inherently. And that's why we'll get into it eventually. Her and Snow are two sides of the same coin. Like she
Right.
understands the game that's actually being played here. Now that they're in the arena, she didn't understand the interview. She didn't understand that, but in the arena, she knows, and she knows how to play it. And also, like, she's Katniss. She's gonna talk some smack. Like,
Yeah. Well, the thing is too, like even the interviews and stuff, like she understands the purpose of all of them. She's like, I just can't do it.
yeah,
Like, but when I'm out here in the woods and I'm like, we're fighting to the death, like I could talk some smack, you know, and I know how to play that all up. Because then later we'll get to it in the cave and stuff when she's with Peeta and she's the one that realizes like, oh, the cameras are watching us. We're gonna have to play this up massively. And Peter's just there dying of infection. So he's like, we're in love. This is great, you know?
poor
Time
buddy.
of my life. Yeah. But then it's funny because in this moment, Katniss is taunting them before Peeta is like, oh, we should just wait her out. What is she going to do? Like, she'll just, if she stays up there, she'll starve to death. Like, she's going to have to come down eventually. And then her and him have this prolonged eye contact moment, you know, like the meme.
Prolonged eye
Prolonged
contact.
eye contact. um, where they're just looking at each other as the rest of the careers go off to like get supplies for like a fire and stuff. And I just love that they're just looking at each other. And you're like, it's so good because in the movie we were talking about it so much of it's still a moment of like, okay, are you helping? Or do you really think that you're gonna be able to kill me in this moment? Because I still don't know what your motivation is, which
She's
is
like,
kind of crazy that we still really just don't know.
yeah, she's like, your assessment is correct. I will die up here, actually.
Yeah.
So what's the plan? Are
Right.
you
It's just great. I love it. Um and you know, because she's injured as we have been seeing. But like the careers and Peeta don't necessarily know that. She's like, if he's trying to buy me time, I can't move. Like in the book, she's like, I'm so weak because of the smoke, she was like throwing up a lot. And so she like wasn't able to keep down any of her food that she's managed to eat. And so she's like, I'm weak, I'm tired, I'm in so much pain. Like, I won't be able to run. like, like this is it. Like I am stuck here. Um, but we get the great moment here where Katniss is sitting up in that tree. She's taking her water canteen and she's like, the part where she takes her sleeve to like clean out the infection on her leg and her hands are shaking so bad because she's in so much pain. I'm like, I feel it. I feel how much pain you're in. It's crazy. It's horrible. And
Also,
this is
it's so good.
it's so good. And this is when we get the cut to Haymitch watching her struggle while he's amongst the capital citizens.
Yeah.
And her face of pain that he can see on the screen up there while she's doing this, he is making essentially the same face as her because it's causing him pain to see this happen.
It's so good. I love the music of the scene. I do
Hmm.
I don't know what Katniss is doing. Why is she pouring water on this thing? She jumped in a pond, now she's pouring water, and then she's wiping with her dirty sleeve. I don't understand what she's doing, but, um
Yeah, it could have been
uh,
because when she was climbing up the tree, bark, dirt, she's like
oh,
trying to
yeah.
clean it out again. That was my assumption, but
Yeah. I
yeah.
was just the sleeve was distracting to me. I was like, "That sleeve is so disgusting." Um
Yeah.
But I love the music of this scene where, like, she's talking smack, then, she sort of settles in and, like, lets that guard down, um, and is focusing on, like she's like, "Oh, a lot just happened in the last, like, 30 minutes max." Um,
Yeah.
the music of the scene is so gentle.
Hmm.
It has a beat to it. It's moving in emotion because we have Haymitch now activating. Like, Katniss is deactivated, Haymitch is being activated, and I don't know, this music of the scene is just so, it pulls you in, and it feels very, like, caring, like, it shows Haymitch is caring through sound.
Yeah, it's like her pain is really translating to both him and us as the audience of like, please help her. Right. And he's like, okay, I gotta. And I love this contrast to the book because she is really like emphasizing when she's in the water and like cleaning the wounds and things like that. She's like, okay, I try really hard not to show any pain because they're not going to help me if I show pain. But in the movie, we've already established that Katniss is a lot more vulnerable, right, in general, and that her moment of vulnerability here is going to be the moment that finally gets Haymitch to get up and schmooze. Which I think is good because we cut out the whole water thing, because there was no way to really do that in the movie where she's thinking in her mind, like, okay, Haymitch isn't sending me sponsor gifts because I'm close enough to water that he's not going to waste the money on it right now, even though
Yeah,
I'm basically dying of dehydration. But we see here in the movie, it's like this looks like the first time he's starting to schmooze it up to even get sponsors. Like, this is
100%.
finally the moment that he's like, I have to help her so that she can get out of the situation.
Yeah, and it's like if I think it also movie Katniss is more compelling as far as, like, maybe because we can see the Capital Citizens and see the broadcast, but, like, a character who has a brave face and then w we as an audience are let into or the Capital Citizens as an audience are let into her vulnerable moments, I think is more appealing because you get to see, like they're like, "Oh, like, she is hurting," whereas, like, but Katniss is, like, putting on this brave face for even the cameras when it's not happening, and that makes her seem a little less like she needs help and, like, that their help would be as impactful.
Yeah. Um, and it's like you see just how much it affects Haymitch. And it's such a great contrast to the betting scene when he also gets so activated by watching all of these people just like be so excited to bet on the tributes. And then he goes back and he's like actually mentoring them for once because he's
Mhm.
like, nah. But with this, he basically then has to go and schmooze. He's like shaking hands, he's laughing, he's smiling, he's being super affable, which is not a Haymitch you see really, until Sunrise on the Reaping. Like, we don't see that in Catching Fire or Mockingjay. Like, this is peak Haymitch right here. Like, his charisma score is high.
Return to form.
Yep.
He's somewhere in there.
Yeah. And then I love those little moments that they change to where while we're gonna get ready to see the parachute come in, we get to see Glimmer and Kato more. We already talked about this previously on the last career pack scene where they were like kind of flirting with each other and stuff, but we see it here too. He's like playing with the sword and the fire, and she's like, "Oh, boys," and they're laughing and like yada yada. I just kind of like that they added this dynamic in there of like, I think it really helps with humanizing the careers a lot because I forget, somebody said this once upon a time, but it's like they're at summer camp for them, but they know that the summer camp is going to end with all of them dead except for one. Right. So it's like because their whole lives since they were like ready to start training, they essentially start training to go in to volunteer for the games. Right. So it's not like they were allowed to be kids and like hang out with other kids. Like this is their first chance to ever do that. And it's like equals and like people who are on the same like level as them who like are there for the same reason. They've all volunteered.
Yeah. Yeah. They
So I
are as
love this
much a
new
part of
dynamic that they put
the
in.
machine as Katniss
Right.
is. It's really cute. I also love the contrast of them like doing very uh first day at sleepaway camp flirting versus Peeta staring up at Katniss with like deep
Yeah.
soulful longing.
Yeah, the contrast being too that like a lot of people who watch the movies, I'm going to be so interested when your friend watches them for the first time. Really, it's hard for them to wrap their brains around the fact that these kids are victims too because they seem so comically over the top evil of like they're enjoying it so much, but it's like again, for four of the five of them standing here in their minds, only one is going to live through the end of these games. And so it's the one time they get to actually like be joyful. Like they were at
Yeah.
training together. You saw them hanging out at training together. Like they're friends now. And they're gonna enjoy it while they can because they're a bunch of kids, right? So I don't think they're being so over the top. Like I think it makes sense. I know some people are like, oh, it's just over the top because like Suzanne needed somebody to be the villain, essentially. And it's like, well, yeah, you have kids who were trained. That's just how they're going to be
Yes.
in comparison to the poorer districts.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is what they were raised to do.
Yeah. Um, but basically we don't see Rue yet. Instead, we get the parachute first, so it's a little reversed from the book. But we get the first parachute coming in with the little chime sound or whatever.
Bing, bing.
And I was like, oh, do they just like not do this in the book? And then I realized that they say that he sent it during the anthem happening, to like mask the sound. Cause she will also start to like saw away at the wasp nest during the anthem in the book because she's trying to mask the sound as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a
Which is
little
smart thinking.
unrealistic that this thing goes bing bing right in the
Yeah.
and the careers are like, we don't know what's happening.
Yeah. Um, and as Katniss goes to see it, we see Clove is like killing a snake with her knife, which I just think is, yeah, throw that in there. Make sure we remember she's good with knives.
Yeah.
Um, and we get the first Haymitch note when she finally goes up to open the little parachute thing, and it's apply generously and stay alive, H. And I do think this was the best way they possibly could have done the fact that Katniss can basically just read Haymitch's mind. Because in the books, it is wild how accurate she is about being like, oh, this is what Haymitch means.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
I
one of my
forgot.
favorite
Yeah.
content creators, I was gonna say I can't remember her name right now, but she does like so many great sketches, and she does one where it's like Katniss not being able to understand literally anybody ever, and then Katniss when she needs to understand what Haymitch is saying and like gets it with pinpoint accuracy. It's crazy.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, they
It's
really
so
are
funny.
two peas in one pod.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's funny. I kind of forgot that the book doesn't have notes because it's so inherent in the movie. Um, but yeah, she's just like out here, one, reading the game makers, and then two, like absolutely understanding Haymitch, which is kind of crazy because that's definitely not a side that's broadcast. You
Right.
know, the
Yeah.
sponsor side is like not really like a thing that they probably watched on TV.
Well, I guess they might because sponsors want to see their gifts being delivered, but
The gifts being delivered, yes, but the actual like conversations that get
oh, no,
to
no,
the
yeah.
gift, no, no, no.
And she makes a note, or she notes in the book that like, oh, this can't even have been from one sponsor. This medicine is like way too expensive for it to only be one sponsor. This has to be multiple people that contributed, which is crazy.
Yeah.
um, and I love that. And because in the book she's thinking like, oh, he hasn't abandoned her because she was like freaking out about not getting the water from him, right? Um, And then in the movie, she whispers "thank you" like up at the sky, not knowing if Haymitch is going to see that necessarily. We don't get like a cut back to him seeing it or anything like that.
Yeah.
But to show that they are communicating in some fashion of just understanding each other, right? Especially because the last thing he said to her before their goodbye or at their goodbye before she went into the arena was "stay alive."
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, because you're otherwise we're just gonna have Katniss getting gifts and zero explanation for for any of them, right? Um, because like this will be so important in the cave later
Yes.
because the leaps she goes through to be like, he wants me to kiss Peeta better. Like immediately her mind will go there in the book, which is crazy because at this point she's reading the game makers, she's reading Haymitch, she's reading the dynamics of like the rest of the career pack, but Peeta standing right there staring at her with love and fear in his eyes, she's like, I don't know, man, I think maybe he's trying to kill me again. Like, Katniss.
Yeah. She's
It's
like, there's
crazy.
a lot happening with you specifically. You're speaking Russian. I don't I don't know.
She's like, I've never seen you a day in my life, I
Yeah.
guess.
He, he's like, I love you. And she's like, where's the game in that?
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, what weird thing are you trying to accomplish here? And he's like, saving your life. And she's like, that can't be right.
No.
Who would do that?
Yeah. Ew. What?
Yeah. There's a great deleted scene later that maybe we'll insert it when we get to it with Rue, right? Where
Mm,
they have this little conversation about crushes. Because she's asking him, like, oh, does he like, do you guys really like each other? And Candace is like, I'm not gonna even answer that question because I can't even lie to Rue about it. Like, it's wonderful. I love it.
she's like, Rue, this is so complicated.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know, Rue. I have no clue what Peeta's thinking. I've never known a day in my life. I don't think he's ever had a thought.
Yeah, I haven't
Okay,
thought
girl.
about a crush in many years because I've been trying to eat.
Yeah. Even though I have clearly been admiring Peeta from afar and basically have
Yeah.
had a crush on him this whole time. I just don't know how to admit that. Um, But anyways, speaking of Rue, we get a shot in the morning, so they manage to sleep through the night. Katniss gets her medicine, she like puts it on. Um, and we get a shot of Peeta sleeping on the forest floor. And then Clove, who's sleeping with her knife in her hand, which I think is a great little detail because she also clearly doesn't trust the other tributes. And then we get another moment of Glimmer and Cato, where Glimmer wakes up briefly because she hears a sound, and she is sleeping spooning with Kato, like on Kato's arm. And again, I just love that they decided to throw this dynamic in here of like, because they're not from the same district. I think that some people sometimes think, especially the movie only people, think that maybe they're from the same district and they already previously knew each other. It's like, no, him and Clove are from the same district, and Marvel and Glimmer are from District 1. So this is like a new thing. Like, we're getting the whole Peeta Katniss dynamic about all these crushes. Meanwhile, we're literally watching Glimmer and Kato play out their crush on live TV as well. And who knows,
Yeah.
maybe it's also a strategy. I was thinking about this too from their mentors of like, oh, it's working for the bread boy and the fire girl. Like, you guys should
Lean into
also
it.
do like a relationship thing. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys will be way better at it. Which they are. Um yeah, it's a fun little like clip too because um even though these folks aren't allies right now, we already know. I mean, when we were first introduced to them, they're like, okay, so when do we kill Peeta? And then, we can see that there's eventually going to be time when they have to kill each other. Um, and there's very little trust there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love that contrast with Clove with the knife and then the two of them all cuddled up. But then we hear a whispering sound as Rue gets Katniss's attention and she's just standing up there in that tree. Love it. Their outfits are doing zero to disguise them in the morning, but it doesn't really matter because the careers are all asleep. That is something that Katniss thinks in the book. So she's like, these are great for the evening when it's dark out and they can't see me, but I will stick out like a sore thumb come daytime. Um, and yeah, because Rue sticks out a little bit like a sore thumb right here. But she is standing in a different tree and she gets Katniss's attention. She points at the wasp nest, points at the careers below, and then starts miming out like, you should do this. Like, you should cut it down. And like, she's like doing a whole charades thing. And I love it.
So cute.
It's so cute. Um,
Oh,
but for us to get the explanation, we cut to Claudius and Caesar. This is where we see that there are only 11 tributes remaining. I was like, oh, it says 6.5 hours have passed. And I was like, oh, I can't see the days, though, that have passed. I was like, only
mhm.
6.5 hours. I was like, that's not true. Yeah.
Taking so
But
many naps.
they have all these tracker jacker graphics in the background and they have like all these little fun facts about them. I didn't pause to read all of them because most of them are too blurry, but Caesar is explaining, like, I believe those are tracker jackers and like genetically engineered wasps. And they're like talking about it and stuff. And he's basically explaining, in extreme cases, death. I love his delivery. It's
Oh,
Stanley Tucci again. Wonderful.
it's so dramatic. I do love the idea of like fun facts about a biological weapon. Um,
Mm-hmm.
mid broadcast. Yeah, it is. This whole sequence is interesting because in the book, like, it's very planned out. Katniss cuts through most of the branch when one, the tracker jackers have been subdued um with the smoke, and two during the anthem. So unfortunately, in the morning, to finish it, she has to like just rip through it, and that wakes the tracker jackers. She gets stung, but in the movie, it's like, well, now or never.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, the sense of urgency. Because in the
Yes.
movie, if she started cutting it in the evening when she got the medicine and then she stopped to take a nap and then she woke up and finished cutting it down, it would kind of be like, oh, okay. Like, kind of killed all the tension there. Like it makes sense in the book. She's like, I can't see anymore to make sure that I'm notching it correctly and stuff like that. So that's why she does it that way. But yeah, in the movie, it's like just wait till it's light enough out. It's fine. But yeah, so she's trying to time it so she also doesn't get stung by the wasps, by the tracker jackers, right? And she, when she's doing it here, gets stung in the throat, which looks like just the most painful thing of all time. Um, and it's cutting between like her and them sleeping. We don't really get a cut to Rue again, but I do love this moment in the book where Katniss is like, besides, if I'm going to die today, it's Rue I want to win. Because she's basically like, I don't even care if my family would get extra food. I don't want to see Peeta win after this. Yeah. Petty. Petty, petty. But this
Petty.
also goes back to our whole thing of this is why she wasn't going to be allies with Rue. Because as soon as they partner up, she's like, well, I'll just die, I guess. Because there's no way I'm letting Rue die. It's just not going to happen.
And I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Look
She's
at
like,
Rue.
that's just Prim. Like, sorry. Not gonna happen.
No.
No. But I think they nail the description in the book where the nest falls, right? And then it bursts open like an egg and a furious swarm of tracker jackers takes to the air. And it like literally like falls, collapses open, and they just swarm out. And it's immediate. And they're all
Yeah.
screaming and trying to run. Glimmer trips immediately and is swarmed by like a huge bunch of them while the rest of them run off. And her screams are haunting.
Yeah, I forgot how violent this scene is.
Yeah.
The makeup, horrifying. Her screams, horrifying.
Yeah.
Katniss is like, as she's cutting, the branch, the noises that she's making when they're stinging are horrifying. Everything about the scene is horrible. And like
Yeah.
uh we'll get to it in a sec, but when she's like prying Glimmer's fingers off the bow, I'm like, how is this? I mean, we're still PG-13, but oh my god.
Yeah. You're like, again, a child that has died this horrendous death. And in the book, it's actually two of them. It's one of the other District 10 tributes also gets stung and dies in the same manner because
Yeah.
Katniss is like, oh crap, I gotta go back for the. Because she runs all the way back to a different pond, sits in it for 5 minutes, and then goes, oh wait, I should have gotten the bow. And then she runs back to get the bow because she's like, if I don't do it now, they're gonna take her body and the bow is gonna go with it. So I like have to
Yeah.
go get it now.
You know
Whereas with
Haymitch is
this,
screaming at the screen and being like, "Get the bow!"
yeah, where are you going? um, because in the movie, what she does is she starts to try and climb down the tree once the tracker jackers have chased the rest of the careers out, and she slips and she falls. And it's great because when she falls, this is when like the sound cuts out, right? Where it's like we get not quite the same ringing tone that we got when they first were at the cornucopia and stuff like that, but it is like an echoey kind of thing. Like she's not all there, almost like she has a concussion, right? Like you start to get the weird lens effects, like a fish lens effect, as she's like getting up from the ground. And we're getting straight on shots of just how terrible Glimmer looks, which is just so swollen. It's horrifying.
Yeah, even with the camera
Oh
effects
god.
that kind of blur it. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Horrendous. It's ugh. And then yeah, then she has to like literally like the venom essentially from the tracker jackers has already like rigor mortis has already set in. So she is like having to like pry Glimmer's fingers around from the bow so she can take it. And then she's like so out of it. She's just like admiring the arrows. She's like, oh yes,
Well,
I finally got
she's
them.
counting them.
Oh, is she counting
She's
them? Yeah.
so yeah, she's so ingrained, like the bow is so ingrained in her that she's even out of it, she's counting the arrows, she's taking stock of what she has, and then from here on out, we're gonna lose it. But as soon as she get the bow in, like she's business. Uh, and then we go into Hallucination Station.
Yeah. Yeah. But and as we're going into Hallucination Station, she is like counting the arrows, whatever, and then Peeta, three Peetas, sprinting towards her. She is like, whoa. And he is like, what are you doing? Run! Like, why are you still here? Like, run. I love Josh in this moment. His delivery of these lines are so good. Like, he
Yeah.
sounds terrified. And I think it's so good the way he delivers the lines because you're like, oh, no, he really did all this for Katniss. Like, he came back and is screaming like that because he's like, I'm trying to save you. Please run away. Like,
She's just sitting there
why
like,
are you still here?
damn.
Yeah.
And and when you said three pitas, I'm just thinking like 3PO, like C3PO or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. In the book, he's being pursued by Kato, and they clearly had a fight.
Mhm.
So this is gonna very clearly lead to his rather gruesome injury. But in the movie, it's just like he's just yelling at her, like, "Go! What are you doing, girl? Go!"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we don't know that he was in a fight and or maybe probably might be dead.
Yeah. We don't know that he's about to be pursued. We can probably make an assumption, but we don't like hear the other careers because Katniss's ears are still like it's so echoey when he's yelling at her too that she's like, you're having trouble focusing on what he's saying. She's swaying like this. We're getting the weird lens effects and we're getting like the weird echoey sound of his voice all at the same time,
Hmm.
which is a lot. I get it. Like Katniss must be overstimulated by it because it's a lot to take in all at once. Um, and she gets up and she runs, and we're probably gonna save the hallucination scene for next week because that. I
Yes.
mean, we're gonna dig so much into it. It's so much of Katniss's backstory that has essentially been cut out of the movie so far.
It's
Cool.
so good.
And it's
It's so
so good. I love the way they end up delivering it.
yeah.
But it deserves more time. So we'll
Yeah.
probably save it for next time. Because
That's
the way
where
that this. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, not to worry, Caesar will lead us
Yeah.
further.
Um, because she's talking about like her running, she's starting to have hallucinations, but we won't even get to that until chapter 15 because chapter 14 basically ends on sick and disoriented. I'm able to form only one thought. Peeta Malark just saved my life. And you're like, oh my god, finally you understood one thing that Peeta has done for you. Like at least you don't misconstrue this one moment, right?
Yes.
It's because if she was sober and like not dying of this venom, essentially, I would think maybe she would have somehow found a way to be like, no, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know why he did that. You know?
He
But
ran
in this
away. He's
one
like with the
moment,
careers now.
yeah, in this one moment, she's like, oh my god, he actually saved me. That's crazy. Didn't know he could do that.
Girl, he been done doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, Katniss.
Oh, oh,
She'll
Katniss, we
never
love
get
you.
there, but it's okay.
No,
No,
no.
no. Poor girl. But yeah, so I think we'll end it there for now. This will be a bit of a shorter episode as we get into some deeper stuff in the upcoming scenes. This has been interesting because it's literally basically just been Katniss. Like we're getting cutaways to the control room and Haymitch and things like that in the movie, but in the books, these are just Katniss for like several chapters with like zero interaction with anybody else besides when she has her run-ins with the careers.
Yeah.
So it's like interesting to have had these couple of scenes because now we're gonna get back to like, well, now she's gonna be interacting with Rue. We're gonna have this whole hallucination thing, like a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. We've established the world. The world is
Mm-hmm.
established. We don't need to return to it too often. It's nice to just to as a reminder, but um we can just sit with Katniss now. We don't really need to introduce anything else.
Yeah, it's great. Sorry, your roommates are cracking me up in the background.
I know. They're watching I think Clone Wars.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so it's interesting to see how we're gonna get these interspersed. Like we haven't even gotten to the next couple of Rose Garden stuff either, which we're still gonna
Yeah.
get at some point, you know. So I'm interested to see like at what points in the book these are like taking over and stuff like that. Because I don't really remember what it matches up one for one at the moment. So excited to
I
get
don't
to
remember at
those.
all. Yeah, I just remember that Snow and Seneca were talking about two very different things, and Seneca was not getting it.
No, he's just Katniss capital style. Where he's
Yeah,
like, I
yeah.
don't know what's going on.
Like, I just know how
What are
to
we
run
talking
the
about?
games. Like, what?
Yeah.
I'm making an amazing games.
Yeah. And the great thing about these cutaways that we've been getting to the control room really is how excited he is, like a kid in a candy shop. Where he's like, I'm a genius. Let me just feel up my own chin and my own beard and
Stupid
like
beard.
but yeah, he's like so smiling, he's so excited every time he gets to make a cool moment happen, like the tree falling over or getting Katniss to the careers and like setting up the cannon because he's like, ooh yeah, Katniss is about to die, you know, like so excited about everything.
Yeah.
um
It
so
is funny too, like with Katniss is like, oh, this isn't the most inventive. Like these games are not the most inventive as far as game makers. And
yeah,
obviously they're putting all their resources in the 75th. But like Seneca's playing 3D chess, or at least he thinks he is, but he's really, I mean, eh, eh.
yeah,
Like if Katniss and Peeta didn't pull the stunt at the end, would these games have ever been remembered? I don't think so.
I don't think so because nothing exciting is happening really
Yeah,
in the grand scheme of things. One of
no.
the 12-year-olds has already died. You know the other 12-year-old's going to go down. We've already lost more than half the tributes. Like, we aren't that far in. Katniss
It's
is the
kind of
most interesting
sloppy.
person about the games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless, which I like, again, the Glimmer-Kato thing is kind of like something they can lean into if the Katniss Peeta. The most memorable thing about the games right now is the star-crossed lovers aspect, which is why they're feeding into it so much. Of like,
Yes.
again, the capital citizens are probably watching this going like, oh yeah, Peeta's playing them. Like, he's there to help Katniss
He's
because he
got it.
loves her. Yeah. So, um, I wish we got to see more of that perspective of it, of like seeing them see the love story. Because even later, like when they're in the cave, I think the only perspective we'll see is like Gale.
Yeah.
Um, for
Duh.
obvious reasons. Yeah. So anyways, I'm excited to get into the rest of it now that we're gonna have more characters back being involved instead of just Katniss.
And
Um,
Rue. We're gonna see
and
Rue.
Rue. I know, I'm so excited, except I'm not. I'm so sad. So sad already.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love every minute we get with her.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, we should definitely watch that deleted scene when we do, whenever that's supposed to fit into the film, because
Yeah, that sounds good.
I love it. Any extra moments we get with her, you know?
Oh, please.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks for joining us this week, and we will see you again next week. More games on the way. More
Indeed.
Rue.
Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye. Now that we're doing video, people can see us dance.
All right. I keep forgetting that we're doing video.
Yeah. We're gonna see how this works out.